October 25, U.S. President Joe Biden said something so extraordinary about the current Israeli-Hamas conflict that, had he really thought it through, he might have seriously reconsidered saying, "There's no going back to the status quo as it stood on October 6." Biden said it was a simple line, but one with breathtaking scope. Was it a passing remark or a determined commitment for the ages? Did the president realize that by tying the U.S. to Israel's war goals, he will be expected to take the lead in creating a new reality in Gaza, as well as on Israeli-Palestinian peace? Or does he believe he can offload the majority of the post-conflict work to a group of regional and international actors who will somehow shoulder the responsibility for Gaza, reconstruction, and whatever performative peace process may ensue? And does he fully understand that the proverbial day after is more likely to be years later? Violence, insurgency, and war have preceded every breakthrough in the Arab-Israeli conflict that has occurred within the conflict zone. Indeed, a severe crisis can create opportunity because it disrupts the status quo and instills pain, which, however, that pain must be coupled with the prospect of gain, which is usually but not always generated by an outside mediator. It remains to be seen whether the Biden administration is willing or able to play that role.
But there's no question that the Republican Party today is dominated, driven, and intimidated by Donald Trump and the MAGA Republicans.
Serious obstacles stand in the way of a brighter, if not transformed, future, and much of what will stand in the way of any attempt to change the Oct. 6 status quo is largely beyond the president's control. Biden will face two badly traumatic societies, each of which will enter a long period of political reconciliation. When Israeli ambassador to the United States Michael Herzog stated that Israel was one country on October 6 and another on October 8, he was not exaggerating. The most severe terror attack in the country's history, the bloodiest single day for Jews since the Holocaust, the greatest intelligence failure since the 1973 Arab-Israeli War, and possibly much worse, given the civilian death toll of the Oct. 7 attack, and the kidnapping of more than 200 hostages, have stunned and shocked a country that has been conditioned to deal with terror and violence throughout its history. The Hamas attack added a new fear of cross-border massacres to Israelis in fear of incoming rockets, not just near Gaza, but also along the Israeli-Lebanese border and in the West Bank. Syria. The events of October 7 also called into question the essence of the contract between the governed and those who governments promised to ensure the safety and security of its citizens. Since independence, the average length of an Israeli government has been about 1.8 years, and the emergency coalition formed by Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu following the attack will almost certainly be replaced. It's unclear whether this will be with a more right-wing or centrist coalition. Following the 1973 war, a state committee of inquiry blamed Israel's military and intelligence elites for the failure, but did not address then Prime Minister Golda Meir's role. Under public pressure, she resigned in 1974. The real earthquake, however, would come 3 years later, when Menachem Begin's right-wing Likud party came to power and reshaped Israeli politics for the next 3 decades. In one of history's great ironies, Egyptian President Anwar Sadat's war-then-peace strategy would benefit the right rather than the left, which had dominated Israeli politics since independence. This time, however, Israelis are unlikely to be confronted by a charismatic, transformative Egyptian leader who is boldly seeking peace, and the Israeli public still reeling from the events of Oct. 7, suspicious, worried, and enraged, will be in no mood to make significant concessions on a Palestinian state so close to their borders.